Brett, Happy New Year.
I know. That went quick.
2026. Oh my God.
It was like it's 5 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Do you know kids that were born in 2000 are 26 this year?
No, I didn't.
God, how nuts is that?
You've got one of those as well.
No, mine's 1999,
Oh, actually.
98.
Yeah. No,
Don't remind me of that. They're getting old. It makes me feel older. And I've got another grandchild due this year, so I'm going to be a double grandparent this year. So, and a girl this time. So, yeah, it's getting old, mate. We're getting old.
Yeah, we are. Had a good break.
Good. Well, that's what it's about. We need to get back in and recharge the batteries, and hopefully everybody else had a good, safe holiday and back on, get feet back under the desk. So we are looking forward to this year. We've got a real great year ahead of us, hopefully. We've planned as much as we can, or as much as you can. Somebody said to me over the break, when I was a kid, I used to look at the adults and think, oh, at least they've got it under control. And I was like, yeah, but we are now the adults and we've not got it under control. So we don't know what's happening this year.
You're right.
Oh, we're the adults.
We are, no, that's right.
We're the adults.
We're supposed to be the responsible ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what we want to talk about today is I'm going to ask Brett a question I was asked over the break was, Andy, what is going to make me use you for my commercial property over using a valuer or using anybody else? I thought most people would know that, but they don't. So I thought a good chat with you today would be around asking you some questions that he was asking me, and maybe see if we can actually inform the audience a wee bit more about what that side of it's about.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we do rebuild valuations for insurance purposes. We do commercial and residential, and we also do infrastructure ones as well. Tell me about why we do the commercial one. What happens in a commercial report? What do we do differently in a report, and how do we gather that information? How do we get the pricing? How do we get to that?
What we do differently is we can get a quote out for a commercial valuation pretty quick, as in same day.
So how does that happen?
We've developed the tech quite some time ago, about 5-6 years we've been using it. So we developed this quoting system that helps us to do all different types of commercial buildings and their use, and it's essentially the back end of our C3IQ, and we just, I was going to say pushed it in, but I probably should use a more tech term. We installed it into a new calculator, and it tells us how much we should charge.
If I'm Joe Bloggs on the street,
Yep.
How do I get access to that?
Generally, at the moment, you get access through a broker. You can approach us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but moving forward for this year, so we're looking at making the commercial quote calculator accessible to public.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the projects that we've gone on this year, which is sort of tags into a bit of the tech stuff that we're doing. I won't go into that yet.
Yep.
I'll talk about the commercial. So once I've got the quote and I've accepted it, then we book.
So how do they accept that quote? So they get the quote out as an email?
As an email.
Is there a click button on there that says accept quote, or?
Yeah, there is. The brokers are currently using this at the moment, so they can accept the quote once the client accepts it. And once that, it gets the ball rolling then. So as quick, we could get a quote out in a day, it could be accepted, and it could be booked in the next day.
Can I ask you a question around that? So my broker comes and gets a quote on your system, or on our system, on C3IQ, gets a quote on there. Can they send that quote forward to their customer, to me as a customer? Or can they download it and send that quote forward?
Yeah.
And then there's a trail of it all there?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, ultimately, the customer needs to make the call on whether or not they're going to go for it. And
I know I should know all this, but I'm asking. That's actually a question that I'm asking.
Oh, is it? Okay. Hope we get it right. But yes, I mean, the client needs to be happy with it. And once they accept it, the broker will get back and say accept. And then we go through the process of booking the job in.
Cool.
The booking process is the same as our residential, and we're obviously all over the country. And then getting back onto track with regards to commercial, how we capture the information, again, is the same as domestic or residential. We send a building assessor to site, and they capture all the measurements, take a lot of photos, not drawings, like I said about 6 months ago. But I've moved
and look at materials on building, things like that, year built. So that's it. And year built tells us a bit of the materials that were used as well.
Well, that's right. And not only that, but most commercial buildings have got a warranty as well,
Yep.
which has information. So we glean whatever information we can get off that. We ask the client whether they've got any plans or drawings, because it could be a relatively new build, which helps us to drill into better information. And specifications as well. Commercial, that's sort of our happy place, because we've been dealing with that for a long time. As far as a QS company is concerned, we've been building them for, God knows, 15 years.
This is what I was saying to this guy over the break, was that commercial is actually 75% of our rebuild valuation business now.
Yeah, I know, it's scary. Because, I mean, we started off with residential, and now commercial, because of the benefits, which I will get to. The benefits of really, it's just all brokers, well, not all, but the ones that know what the benefits are for the clients are actually really pushing that product. With that information, it enables us to get accuracy, and we're all about accuracy. We sort of maintain that plus or minus 5%, which is within the parameters of RICS and NZIQS and the bodies that we belong to. But we generally, that's what we adhere to all the time. We've got a huge database, so we can do cross-checks on buildings. So if it's a 5-star hotel built on flat ground in Queenstown, and we've done 4 or 5 other 5-star hotels built on flat ground in Queenstown, we can do a bit of a sanity check with regards to costs and specification.
And we've probably already been QSs on similar jobs as well.
Well, that's right, yeah. So and if we have, we can, generally what we'll do is we ask the client whether we can use that information to use as a yardstick for projects moving forward. And then we provide a report, and then the report will go to the broker and the client, or both, depending on what they choose. And in that report, we've got an RV, IV, and FSLV. So we've got 3 numbers, and we've got a lot more numbers.
So do you want to explain what your acronyms mean?
Rebuild valuation. So the RV is the reinstatement value.
Yep. What is that?
That's essentially the rebuild cost of that property today.
Okay.
Or for the longevity of the...
Including fees, including everything.
And the fees are separated out as well, so if you want to get technical on it. But
that's cool.
And then we've got inflationary figures which help to take it out to how long the rebuild. So if it was to fail today, if it's a 2.5-year build, then we need to make sure that we've allowed enough inflation for it to be rebuilt. And so we've got those numbers. IV is depreciated value, indemnity value. That's why it's called IV.
Yep.
But and that's if it's generally in construction, a building has a 50-year life, and loosely, if it was built 25 years ago, it would have half of its life left, and that is reflected in the IV. And then what we do is, if we go to a building that was built 25 years ago and there's been improvements made to it, we'll put the improvements in as a dollar value, but we'll also put life back into the building.
Right, okay.
Because, I mean, if they put a new roof on it and they've reclad it, then it's going to last longer than...
So we don't just take a percentage out for 25 years, 50%. We actually work out material age.
Yep.
And when an owner does some works in it, we actually give it more value.
More value and more life.
Right.
So we bring its life back up. Yep. And that was a request that was made by FENS about 5 years ago, because they felt like that we were taking the depreciated numbers out of the IV, and they wanted us to put improvements back in.
And owners would want that as well, because they want to know what the real value...
Which is fair enough. So we've been doing that for quite some time. The other numbers that the brokers use and the clients use, obviously, is the fees and demolition. Yep. So demolition costs get separated out. And then this is where I pretend to be a broker and say, well, basically they take all those important numbers and they put it to the insurer and try and get insurance for it. No, you were going to ask me a question.
No, I was waiting for you to talk about the other number. You never talked about the other love.
RV, IV, FSLV.
You didn't talk about the FSLV.
And that's an acronym that we made up because when we first got into the fire service levy, Fens asked us to create a new number.
Well, Fens didn't really ask us. We just created a new number by reading the Fire Act.
Yeah,
we said there was deductible items.
Yeah. Well, it was a discussion because they didn't want us mucking around with the IV. And historically, that's because a lot of previous reports that they've been receiving across their desk had manipulated IV numbers. So we created a new number called FSLV. And all that is the indemnity value less the deductible items which are in the Act 1975. That's all changing this year, and we can't confirm yet exactly how that's going to look. And there's a potential for them to be taking the sum insured straight off the reinstatement value. We can still use deductible items, so there will still be a benefit. But the conversations that I've been having with a lot of commercial brokers is, first of all, you've just got to get the RV right. You've got to get that right, and then everything else falls off that. And there's just too many valuations out there where the RV is not correct. And one of the biggest problems is hyperinflation. From a bit of a hangover from COVID. And where there's and commercially they're paying way too much for their insurance, too much premium.
So tell me about hyperinflation. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. There was a lot of uncertainty during COVID, and everybody was talking about how much JIB was, and it was like 100% inflation, or talking about lettuces and God knows whatever else, and it seemed to find its way into rebuild valuations from certain businesses, and we've seen rebuild valuations that have had 35-40% inflation in a 1 year period, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So, but that's on top of high inflation as well. So the previous year, like you as soon as COVID hit, most valuers put inflation up because they were scared of it. They didn't really understand it. And I think they increased it to up to about 15 to 20%. And we decided that we were going to sit around sort of 12%. I think we fluctuated between 8 and 12%, and we made a call on that, and based on consulting with builders all around the country.
And based on what we were seeing in the market.
Yeah, exactly. And this is not our first rodeo. We've been in similar situations. This is probably about the fourth cycle that we've been in. Everybody panicked in COVID because with COVID, a lot of freight was affected. And
it was an unknown. It was an unknown for everybody.
But that resulted in a lot of inflation just being thrown onto the reports, and so we sort of copped a bit of flack initially, saying we're not allowing enough inflation, but we work on a nice curve as opposed to boom bust. We've talked about that before on different parts of what it is that we do, and then we went through the first year of COVID, and then the hyperinflation of 25%. A lot of valuations were coming out with another 25 sitting on top of that. So we were sitting at 12. By then, after the year went on, we'd already started reducing. So we were down to around about 10. I'm just using averages here. And then they was 25 on 25, and then they reduced it to sort of 18, 15. By that stage, we were down to 8. And it's massive. And the thing is, a lot of people haven't really reset from that period. So if they've had a previous valuation done by somebody else, and then they essentially get us in to do a valuation, it causes them to sort of think twice, and they think, are we underinsured with CCC, or are we overinsured with this other valuation? So the way we talk to the clients is, we're involved in construction. We know what the build costs are today. We don't put percentages on percentages. We actually always bring it back to ground zero, as in build costs today. And we do that every 3 months, so we upgrade our rates.
And when we had Alex in the end of last year into the podcast, and we talked about inflation and how it works and things like that, and that was a really interesting information that he was telling us, and how he calculates it on the way through.
That's right.
For his construction jobs. Yeah. And it's very different from what everybody thinks it is.
That's right. Well, they'll take a number and multiply the whole number by that percentage, where it could be affecting 5% of the build cost. So it might be 15% on 5%. Yeah. So rather than 15% on the whole lot. So,
and that's what Alex was telling us, that the actual build cost of the overall cost of a build is not actually all construction.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's an important part to remember. I do remember over that period, we had to sit down with a couple of the insurance companies because they were adding inflation on as well.
That's right. They were panicking as well.
Yeah.
And basically the message went out that if you haven't got an updated valuation, put 15% on top of the number that's there already. But what was happening is they were actually getting valuations from us and then putting another 15% on top of that as well, which is not ideal.
So what you're saying is, I mean, in summary, you're saying that if you use us to do a rebuild valuation, we do the fire service levy value, and we can deduct that out really cleanly because we can work out the actual materials that can come out of it. It's not square metre rate that we're pulling out of an all-encompassing square metre rate. Yep. We're actually pulling the real number out of that.
Yep.
How helpful is that to fens?
Well, it gives them an accurate number. And that was a conversation that we had right at the very start. As long as it's accurate and we can account for it, and if we're audited, they can get access to it.
Right.
Then they're actually.
So do you think that fens are going to start auditing people on that number? Oh,
they've already said that in the changes. Though the number has to be transparent. So any deductible items moving forward from July 26 this year, they have to have line items. So if you're deducting a certain item, it has to have a line item and a value beside it. We can do that easily.
Yeah, but so other people doing these valuations, except for quantity surveyors, will struggle with that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they'll do that. I think they'll just apply a percentage.
And that's not going to be acceptable to fens, I'm assuming?
I'm not sure. Would like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have actually had that conversation with them, but I mean, they've got so many changes going on, but we're comfortable with it, and essentially we've already done a couple of trial reports and demonstrated those to fens to make sure that they're actually happy with the look and feel of it. And we're going to dedicate one whole page, which is just a fens page with deductible items and so forth.
So are we going to bring that in early before July? Are we going to start using these reports, say, the 1st of April or something like that? Is that the intention?
No, the intention is to let everybody know exactly what the change is going to be, and we'll start using the new reports
from that. Not from the date, but from before that, so people are starting to get the report.
Yeah.
Because everything changing in one day is just...
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it won't have numbers in it until such a time as we need to have numbers in it, but we can do that so they can actually see it and get comfortable with a new page in our report. I mean, it's funny, we keep saying we used to have a lot of pages, and then all the brokers and insurers said reduce the pages, and then we reduced them. Now they want more pages put in. So we and the way we combat that is we actually make it accessible to brokers and insurers in the back end.
Yeah.
What you were talking about with regards to lost time.
Yeah.
If they have a loss, then we can give them all the photos, not in a report, but they will have access through their login.
Yep. Through C3IQ.
Through C3IQ, yep.
Through the awesome
portal.
That's interesting. That's good. So I'll go back and tell my mate that this has happened and this is how you do it. I think
talk to me.
I think I roughly told him the right thing. So hopefully he comes and uses us. Thank you for that, Brett. So Brett.
Yes, Andy.
What's new with C3IQ?
See what you did there. More speed, so which could potentially open up different markets for us as far as speed's concerned. And just a better product. Yeah. We can also utilise the same staff that we've got and potentially have them doing slightly different things. Yeah. It's actually really exciting. Yeah. Look, we've already done the rough scope. And now we're just going through the pain of budget costs.
There is no budget.
Yeah, that's right.
There never is.
It was started busking actually about 2 months ago to hopefully get a bit of cash flow.
That's exciting. You've asked me not to say anything. I've got the biggest mouth in the team. And I tell everybody what's going on. So I'm not going to say anything about it. But it is exciting. And from the remit that I've heard from you guys, I'm really excited. I think this year is going to be a huge change in our technology this year.